More than 32 billion cans of food are sold in the United States every single year, and worldwide that number climbs past 130 billion. Most people assume that if it's sitting on a grocery store shelf, past inspection, and carries a government seal of approval, it must be safe to eat. After all, it's just food in a can. What could possibly go wrong? Here's the uncomfortable truth. A surprising number of canned foods on grocery store shelves are loaded with so much sodium, added sugar, and questionable preservatives that they can quietly work against your health for years before you ever notice the damage. Meanwhile, a handful of canned foods sitting just a few feet away are nutritional powerhouses that deserve a permanent place in your pantry. Today we're exposing 13 canned foods you should seriously reconsider and revealing 11 smarter swaps you should be stocking up on instead. Stick around until the end, because the number one food on our buy list is something most nutritionists quietly love, and most shoppers walk right past without a second glance. Let's start with something that might already be sitting in your pantry right now. Number 13, canned pasta meals. There's something undeniably comforting about popping open a can of ravioli or spaghetti rings. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's just convenience on a busy night. Either way, these have become pantry staples in millions of homes across the country. The problem is what's actually inside that can. A single serving often delivers a heavy hit of sodium, refined carbohydrates, added sugar, and processed oils, all packed into a small, unassuming tin. And here's what most people miss. The serving size printed on the label is almost always smaller than what people actually eat in one sitting. Eat what looks like a normal portion, and you can blow through a meaningful chunk of your daily sodium limit before you've even added a side dish. The refined carbs spike your blood sugar fast, and with almost no fiber to slow things down, you're hungry again within a couple of hours. It's a cycle that's easy to fall into and hard to notice until it's already a habit. Number 12, fruit packed in heavy syrup. The moment shoppers see the word fruit on a label, their brain flips a switch to healthy choice, and that's exactly the reaction manufacturers are counting on. Fruit itself is genuinely nutritious. Heavy syrup is not. Instead of preserving peaches, pears, cherries, and fruit cocktail in water or real juice, many brands soak them in a thick sugar solution that can be nearly half sugar and corn syrup by weight. One serving can deliver an amount of added sugar that rivals or exceeds what health authorities consider a reasonable daily limit, all in a single cup that looks completely innocent sitting next to your cereal. The fruit creates what nutrition experts call a halo effect. It feels healthy. It sounds healthy. But nutritionally, it can land a lot closer to dessert than to fresh produce. If you enjoy canned fruit, look for water-packed or 100% juice versions instead. Unfortunately, sugar isn't the most serious danger on today's list. The next entry covers something that has actually sent people to the hospital. Number 11, damaged canned foods. This isn't a specific product, it's a category most shoppers walk right past without a second glance. If you ever see a can that's bulging, leaking, dented along a seam, deeply rusted, or visibly swollen, put it back on the shelf immediately. No discount makes that risk worth taking. A compromised seal creates exactly the kind of low-oxygen environment that allows dangerous bacteria to grow inside the can, and one of the most feared is Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria behind botulism. Botulism attacks the nervous system and can cause paralysis, breathing failure, and in severe cases, death. It's worth being clear about where the real risk lies. Commercial canning facilities use pressure-sealed processing that reaches temperatures well beyond what a home kitchen can achieve, which is exactly why serious outbreaks are overwhelmingly linked to improperly home-canned food rather than what you buy off the shelf. Some of the most well-documented botulism cases in recent decades, including outbreaks tied to potato salad, trace back to potatoes that were canned at home using the wrong method and never reheated before eating. That said, commercial recalls do still happen on rare occasions, which is exactly why the rule stands no matter where the can came from. If it looks off, don't risk it. Number 10, canned chicken. Protein is one of the most important things you can put on your plate. So canned chicken sounds like an obvious win. It's convenient, affordable, and ready in seconds. Unfortunately, many brands solve the convenience problem by creating a sodium problem. Manufacturers lean on sodium-based preservatives to extend shelf life and boost flavor, and the result can be a product that pushes your daily sodium intake into uncomfortable territory after just one sandwich. The frustrating part is that chicken itself is naturally lean and healthy. The issue isn't the meat, it's everything added to it before it ever reaches the shelf. Compare labels and look for lower sodium versions whenever you can. And if you think canned chicken is salty, wait until you see what's next. Number 9. Pickles. Pickles have been a kitchen staple for centuries, and in some ways they've earned that reputation. They're low in calories, and naturally fermented varieties can even deliver beneficial probiotics for your gut. But commercially canned and jarred pickles come with one serious drawback: the brine. That salty liquid preserving your pickles is loaded with sodium, and it doesn't take many spears to rack up a surprisingly large share of your recommended daily limit. Sweet pickle varieties bring a second issue to the table, often carrying a notable amount of added sugar per serving. Depending on what's in your jar, you might be hitting your sodium and sugar limits at the same time, which is a combination your heart definitely isn't thanking you for. If you love pickles, look for naturally fermented options labeled raw or live cultures, or stick to low-sodium brands. Number 8. Corned beef hash. On paper, this looks like the perfect comfort meal. Meat, potatoes, protein, enough calories to keep you full for hours. In reality, many canned versions are loaded with saturated fat, sodium, and calories all packed into a single small can. Some products carry more sodium in one serving than a person should reasonably consume in an entire day, and that's before factoring in the saturated fat content, which can run high enough to meaningfully impact your numbers if this becomes a regular habit rather than an occasional treat. An occasional indulgence isn't going to derail your health. Making it a weekly staple is a different story. Before we get to the food that might surprise you the most, hit that like button and subscribe if you're finding this useful, because the healthier picks coming up later are genuinely worth the wait. Number 7. High mercury tuna. Most people know tuna is a great source of protein. Fewer people realize that not all tuna is created equal when it comes to what's swimming around inside it. Larger predatory fish accumulate more mercury over their lifetime, which means certain tuna varieties, particularly some albacore and solid white-labeled cans, can carry meaningfully higher mercury levels than smaller, younger fish like skipjack. Mercury exposure is a particular concern for pregnant women, nursing mothers, and young children, since it can affect brain development. The good news is, you don't need to give up tuna entirely. Just lean toward lower mercury varieties and keep portions reasonable. Number 6. Canned baked beans. Beans have one of the best reputations in the entire grocery store, and for good reason. They're loaded with fiber, protein, and minerals. The problem is everything manufacturers add after the beans go into the can. Many popular brands lean heavily on brown sugar, molasses, or corn syrup, sometimes all three at once, turning a healthy legume into something that eats a lot closer to dessert. The sodium content doesn't do you any favors either, with many products delivering a substantial percentage of your daily limit in just half a can. If you love baked beans, hunt down low-sugar, low-sodium versions, or better yet, make a batch from scratch. Number 5. Processed canned meats. Spam, Vienna sausages, potted meat, deviled ham. These products have survived for generations because they're cheap, shelf-stable, and require zero effort. But that convenience comes at a cost. Most are loaded with sodium, saturated fat, and preservatives, and many rely on sodium nitrite to maintain color and prevent bacterial growth. Regulators consider approved amounts safe in isolation, but this is where the bigger picture matters. The World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as tobacco, based on consistent evidence linking it to colorectal cancer. The often cited figure is that eating about 50 grams of processed meat every single day, roughly 2 slices of deli ham or 1 hot dog, is associated with an 18% increase in relative risk of colorectal cancer. That number sounds alarming, and it deserves a little context. It's a relative increase on top of an already small baseline lifetime risk, raising the average person's lifetime risk from somewhere around 5% to 6%. It's a real, scientifically supported signal, not a guarantee of harm, but it's exactly why major health bodies recommend limiting processed meat rather than making it a daily habit. Add in sodium levels that can run over 1,000 milligrams in a small serving, and this is a category worth eating sparingly rather than often. Number 4. Cream-based canned soups. When it's cold outside, nothing beats a hot bowl of soup, which is exactly why canned soup remains one of the best-selling items in any grocery store. But cream-based varieties, think cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, cream of celery, are often among the worst nutritional offenders on the shelf. Many deliver an enormous sodium load in a single cup, and the real trap is portion size. Most people eat the entire can in one sitting, but the nutrition label is frequently based on a serving of just half a can. That means the sodium, fat, and calories you think you're eating could be double what's actually printed on the front of the label. Number 3, sweetened condensed milk. Rich, creamy, and absolutely delicious in the right dessert, sweetened condensed milk is also one of the most sugar-dense products in the entire canned food aisle. The manufacturing process concentrates both sugar and calories by removing water, leaving you with something that's essentially a thick, sweet syrup wearing a dairy label. A small serving can carry more sugar than a candy bar. An occasional treat is perfectly fine. The trouble starts when a product like this becomes a regular pantry staple. Since chronically excess sugar intake has been linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and cardiovascular problems over time. Number 2, canned puddings and desserts. Rice pudding, chocolate pudding, custard cups. Nobody expects these to be health food, but most people underestimate just how processed they really are. Most combine refined sugar, processed fats, artificial flavoring, and a long list of preservatives, while delivering essentially nothing in the way of vitamins or fiber. Whatever trace nutrients might exist are largely destroyed by the heat of processing. The problem isn't enjoying dessert now and then. The problem is mistaking these for anything close to nutritious. And now, the worst canned food on today's list, the one nutrition experts repeatedly warn people about. Number 1, ultra-processed canned meat products. This is the category that combines nearly every risk factor we've already covered into one single can. Excessive sodium, heavy saturated fat, preservatives, and artificial flavoring, often with an ingredient list so long that most shoppers couldn't identify half of what's actually in it. What makes this category especially dangerous isn't just what's in any single serving, it's how easy these products are to overeat. They're cheap, endlessly convenient, and aggressively marketed, which is exactly why nutrition experts consistently rank them at the very bottom of the canned food aisle. Now, before you swear off canned food forever, here's the genuinely good news. Not every can deserves a warning label. Some canned foods are every bit as nutritious as their fresh counterparts, and a few might actually be better. That's where the second half of this video begins. 11 canned foods you should be buying instead, starting with one of the most underrated bargains in the entire supermarket. Number 11, mixed vegetables. A single can delivers carrots, peas, green beans, and corn, working together to provide fiber, vitamins, and important minerals, often canned within hours of harvest, which helps lock in much of their nutritional value. Choose a low-sodium version, and you've got an instant addition to soups, casseroles, and stir-fries for less than the price of a coffee. Number 10, green chilies. For less than $1, you can add real flavor to tacos, enchiladas, burgers, and soups. Green chilies bring vitamin A, antioxidant carotenoids, and potassium to the table. And a single can be portioned across multiple meals while sitting on a shelf for years without losing its punch. Number 9, chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. Few canned foods pack as much value per penny. They're loaded with plant-based protein, fiber, iron, and folate, and research has linked regular chickpea consumption to better cholesterol numbers and steadier blood sugar thanks to their low glycemic index. Toss them into a salad, blend them into hummus, or eat them straight from the can. One simple trick, rinse them first. It can cut the sodium content significantly. Number 8, black beans. Everything good about chickpeas applies here too, but black beans might be even more versatile. 1 cup delivers around 16 grams of protein and well over 18 grams of fiber, plus a meaningful share of your daily iron needs. Their antioxidant content is genuinely impressive, and their low glycemic index makes them a smart choice for blood sugar control. Rinse them before eating to cut the sodium, or look for no salt added versions on the shelf. Number 7, canned tomatoes. This might be the one food on the planet that's actually better in a can than fresh. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, the antioxidant responsible for their deep red color, and the heat involved in canning actually increases how much lycopene your body can absorb, with some research suggesting canned tomatoes deliver substantially more usable lycopene than raw ones. Lycopene has been linked to better heart health and a reduced risk of certain cancers. Choose BPA-free cans where you can, and build them into sauces, soups, and stews. Number 6, jarred artichoke hearts. Fresh artichokes take forever to clean and prepare, which is exactly why jarred versions are worth keeping on hand. You get the fiber, plant protein, and antioxidants that support digestion and liver health, without the hassle. Look for versions packed in olive oil for the best flavor, and use them in pasta, salads, or an easy antipasto spread. Number 5, Pumpkin puree. Not pie filling, pure 100% pumpkin. A single can is loaded with fiber, vitamins A, C, and E, potassium, and beta-carotene, all of which support eye health and immune function. Stir it into oatmeal, blend it into a smoothie, or bake it into muffins. Just double-check the label says 100% pumpkin and skip anything labeled pie filling, which is a completely different, much sweeter product. Number 4. Canned sweet corn. Each serving provides fiber, vitamin C, B vitamins, potassium, and a useful dose of lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants specifically tied to eye health. Some research suggests the canning process can actually make certain antioxidants easier for your body to absorb. Rinse before eating to cut the sodium, and it's an easy add to salads, soups, or a simple side dish. Number 3. Coconut milk. A pantry staple across Asian, African, and Middle Eastern cooking that's finally getting its due in American kitchens. The medium-chain triglycerides in coconut milk are processed differently by your body than most fats, often used for quick energy rather than stored. Stick to the unsweetened version with no added thickeners, and use it for curries, soups, and creamy sauces without the dairy. Number 2. Canned beets. One of the most underrated vegetables on this entire list. Beets are rich in fiber, vitamin C, iron, and manganese, but the real standout is their natural nitrate content. Your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, which can help relax blood vessels, support healthy blood pressure, and even improve exercise performance, which is exactly why beet juice has become popular among endurance athletes. Canned beets retain nearly all of these compounds compared to fresh. Try them in a salad with a little olive oil and feta. And finally, number 1. The food most nutritionists quietly love, and most shoppers walk right past. Sardines, pound for pound, nothing else in the canned food aisle comes close. They're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids essential for heart and brain health, and a single can typically delivers more than 20 grams of protein, along with a solid dose of vitamin D, vitamin B12, and calcium from their soft edible bones, making them one of the best non-dairy sources of bone-supporting nutrients you can buy. As a bonus, because sardines sit near the bottom of the marine food chain, they're also among the lowest mercury fish you can eat regularly. Straight from the can with crackers, mashed onto toast, or tossed into a salad, sardines might be the single best value in the entire grocery store. So here's the bottom line. The canned food aisle isn't something to fear, but it does reward a little label literacy. Watch your sodium, watch your added sugar, skip anything with a damaged seal no matter how good the discount looks, and build your pantry around the genuinely nutritious options like beans, tomatoes, pumpkin, and sardines. Clear out the worst offenders we covered in the first half, restock with the 11 winners from the second, and you'll get all the convenience of canned food with almost none of the downside. If this helped you rethink what's in your pantry, leave a comment with which item on the buy list surprised you the most, and subscribe if you want more videos breaking down what's actually inside the food you eat every day.